ocean by throwing into the water the peaks of mountains, whose trees and other vegetation had been shaken by the hands of great monkeys, Lord Ramachandra went to Lanka to release Sitadev from the clutches of Ravana. With the direction and help of Vibhusena, Ravana's brother, the Lord, along with the monkey soldiers, headed by Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, entered Ravana's kingdom, Lanka, which had previously been burned by Hanuman. Text 17. After entering Lanka, the monkey soldiers, led by chiefs like Sugriva, Nila, and Hanuman, occupied all the sporting houses, granaries, treasuries, palace doorways, city gates, assembly houses, palace frontages, and even the resting houses of the pigeons. When the city's crossroads, platforms, flags, and golden water pots on its domes were all destroyed, the entire city of Lanka appeared like a river disturbed by a herd of elephants. Angada and the other commanders of the soldiers of Ramachandra faced the elephants, infantry, horses, and chariots of the enemy, and hurled against them big trees, mountain peaks, clubs and arrows. Thus the soldiers of Ramchandra killed Ravana's soldiers, who had lost all good fortune because Ravana had been condemned by the anger of Mother Sita. So great souls like Sita, they can give blessings, but here one can also be condemned by their anger. It goes both ways. So when associating with devotees, especially more advanced devotees, one has to be very careful and very cautious. You can get their blessings, but if somehow or other you offend them, they won't take the offense, but Krishna will become offended. Just like if a father has a child, the daughter or the son, and you make fun of the daughter, or you make fun of the son may not acknowledge it, may not even know it's an offense, may also laugh, but the father will know, and the father becomes angry. So Krishna is the Supreme Father, Ramchandra, Aham Bija Prahad Pita. So one has to be very careful in dealing with Vaishnavas. Srila Krishna's Kaviraj writes in the Madhya Lila, chapter 2, I herewith offer my repeated obeisances to neophyte devotees, Chota, and advanced devotees, Bada. Chota Bada, Bhakti Gana, Vandanam, Sabara, all of them, Sri Charan. Sri, their lotus feet, Charan. Charan, lotus feet, beautiful Sri. Krishna's Kaviraj says, I herewith offer my respects, not just to the advanced, that's Bada, but also Chota. Chota can also mean small, Chota Gornitai. So it's not that we just offer our respect to the advanced. Krishna's Kaviraj is offering his respects to the neophyte devotees as well. This is in Madhya Lila, chapter 2. text 93. So we'll read the purport because it's very nice, this purport. By Srila Prabhupada, the soldiers Lord Ramachandra recruited in the jungle were all monkeys and did not have proper equipment with which to fight the soldiers of Ravana. For Ravana's soldiers were equipped with weapons of modern warfare, whereas the monkeys could only throw stones, mountain peaks, and trees. It was only Ramchandra and Lakshman who shot some arrows. But because the soldiers of Ravana were condemned by the curse of Mother Sita, the monkeys were able to kill them simply by throwing stones and trees. There are two kinds of strengths, Daivi and Purushakara. Devi refers to the strength achieved from the transcendence, and Purushakara refers to the strength organized by one's own intelligence and one's own power. Transcendental power is always superior to the power of the materialist. Depending on the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one must fight one's enemies, even though one may not be equipped with modern weapons. So, two types of strength, Daivi and Purushakara. Purushakara. Daivi is strength, transcendental strength. Purushakara is one's own personal strength. So Ravana and his associates were depending on their own personal strength. Purushakara. Which actually was also coming from Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, I am the ability in human beings. So if one has any type of strength, it's coming from Krishna. Shri Guru Dinatarine. By the mercy of Krishna, Paramananda Mahavan, a lame man can cross the mountains, and a dumb man can recite the Vedic scriptures. So actually all strength, all knowledge, Shmeta Jnanam Aponam Cha, is coming from Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna. But Ravana was not acknowledging that. He was in denial. Not only did he deny Ramchandra, but he was trying to kill Ramchandra. So his strength, Purushakara, and then Daivi, strength coming from Ramchandra himself. So we should obviously pray for the mercy and strength of Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra is the ideal king. It's sorely needed, especially now in this Kali Yuga, an ideal administrator, an ideal king. Krishna and Ramchandra are the same in tattva, and tattva means truth. They're the same in tattva, but they're different in ras. Ras means the pleasure you derive from different spiritual exchanges of love. For instance, Ramchandra, he's very dignified. He's very sober. He's the ideal Kshatriya. And Kshatriyas are very stern. They don't crack jokes. But Krishna is always cracking jokes to the cowherd boys. He's always cracking jokes with the gopis. He dances with the gopis. But Ramchandra doesn't even dance with Sita. Have you read anywhere in Ramayana where Ramchandra starts dancing with Sita? I've heard that he only gave her a garland twice. But Krishna is always giving garlands to the cowherd boys and the gopis, and vice versa. So how do we explain this? That Krishna and Rama are non-different. They are non-different, but Ramchandra is concealing some of his characteristics. He's concealing them, and he's not showing them, like Rasa Leela, and jumping in the river Jamuna, and crawling in the courtyard of Mother Yasoda. So he's concealing them. They are there, but they're not manifest. And Prabhupada, I played the tape just yesterday, appearance of Ramchandra. Prabhupada gave the example of the moon. The new moon, or half moon. You're just seeing half a moon. But the full moon is there, but you just can't see it. You know that example? So within the Shingadev and Ramchandra and Vamana and all the different incarnations of Krishna is the characteristics of Bhagavan, Swayam Bhagavan, but they don't show them. They don't reveal them. It's only in the personality of Krishna that all these characteristics are shown. Playing a flute. Krishna plays a flute. It's extremely enchanting, very romantic. It is rhapsodizing. What does that mean, rhapsodizing? The Latin for rhapsodizing means to grab and to take. It rhapsodizes your mind. It grabs your mind. But Ramchandra doesn't play the flute. What does Ramchandra do? He plays the bow and arrow. And he shoots the bow and arrow. Different mood. So some people like the bow and arrow, and some people like the flute. And that's according to your propensity. It's according to you. Prabhupada was saying, Lord Ramachandra, yes, the ideal king. Krishna also, in the Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami describes that Krishna has 4 aspects to his character. Dhira Lalita, Dhira Shanta, Dhiro Datta, and Dhirodatta. And these are 4 aspects. And they contradict each other. So, Dhira Lalita is Krishna's character of being very carefree, joking, dancing, romantic. And the ideal personality, who's Dhira Lalita, is none other than Cupid. So you just think of Cupid. See, when there's an example, it becomes easier to understand. So I'm going to give examples for each one. But Rupa Goswami has already given these. I'm just repeating him. So Dhira Lalita is the Cupid aspect of Krishna. And it's very attractive. And it's very nice. No problems. Niet problem. Joking all the time. And dancing. So that's Dhira Lalita. And then Dhira Shanta. You know what the word Shanta means? Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Very peaceful. So that's personified by Ramchandra. Very peaceful, magnanimous, stern, strong, sober. And this is Ramchandra. That's it. Rupa Goswami says the Dhira Shanta aspect of Krishna is seen in Ramchandra. Ramchandra, of course, is the most important Leela avatar of Krishna. And then Dhiro Datta. So Dhira is one who's very sober. So this is Maharaj Yudhisthira. So the Dhiro Datta aspect of Krishna is seen in Yudhisthira. It seems very similar, Dhira Shanta, Dhira Datta. Yudhisthira, Ramchandra seem but there are some subtle differences. Otherwise Rupa Goswami wouldn't have given these differences. So Yudhisthira, when Yudhisthira was in the forest of Dandakaranya, he enjoyed it. He liked it. He liked living simply, eating vegetables and fruits. He was more Brahminical. But Bhima didn't like it at all. Because Bhima's nature is different. So that's the next one. Dhiro is with a D, Datta. And that's Bhima. And Bhima's characteristics, it's very interesting. He's a Nitya Siddha, an eternal associate of the Lord. But Dhiro Datta means arrogant, forceful, strong, condescending, mocking. And this is Bhima. When Bhima was living in the palace after the war of Kurukshetra, and Dhritarashtra's sons had all been killed, Dhritarashtra stayed in the palace. Yudhishthira, on rising every morning, would go to Dhritarashtra, bow down to him, and touch his feet. Although that same person, Dhritarashtra, had tried to kill him by poison, by demons, by burning the house down. Still, Yudhishthira went and offered his respects and bowed down. It's called Mayada etiquette. But Bhima, he wouldn't do that. Bhima would come up to Dhritarashtra and make jokes. So how are you today, O king? O king of nothing? You're living on the food that is thrown out to you, like dogs live on food. How do you feel your 100 sons have been killed? This is Bhima's mood. And yet, he's a Nitya Siddha. It's very difficult to balance sometimes all these things, but he's a pure devotee. So these different moods are there. This is Rupa Goswami in Nectar Devotion. So, Ramchandra is Mayada Purushottama. Purushottama means the best of persons. Mayada would mean etiquette. He followed the etiquette exactly. Even he went more on following the etiquette. He had the one wife. He was a Kshatriya. So in those days, the Kshatriya, if they were qualified and if they were able to maintain more than one wife, they could have more than one wife. But only if they could maintain them properly. Nowadays, of course, a man can't even maintain one woman. But anyhow, the divorce rate I know is 50% nowadays. So Ramchandra Mayada, that word is important. Mayada means etiquette. And Lord Chaitanya's Alduya, again, Purushottama. Alduya means very merciful, extremely merciful. When Lord Chaitanya appeared 500 years ago, Haridas Thakur offered a prayer. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anchalila chapter 3, text 83. Haridas Thakur says, my dear Lord Chaitanya, while you are situated within this material world, Tumara, you, Stita, situated, Marcha, within this material world, you will send to Vaikuntha, Tumi Vaikuntha Paitaba. Tumi, you, Vaikuntha Paitaba. You will send every jiva in this Brahmanda. Not just every devotee, not just everyone in Navadvip, but every jiva, whether they're moving, jangama, or whether they're standing, stava. Stava means like tree. Standing or moving. Sakla Brahmanda Jivara. Every jiva in this, not India, not just the earth planet, but this whole universe. Universe means this Brahmanda. So that's Lord Chaitanya, Alduya. And Haridas Thakur offers him that prayer. My dear Lord, while you are here in your incarnation, Navadvip avatar, you will send to Vaikuntha all moving and non-moving living entities, Savajiva Jati, in every species of life. And then again, you'll fill the universe up with other living entities, Sukshma, subtle living entities. You'll fill the universe up again. Previously, you did this when you appeared as Krishna. Srila Haridas Thakur says, now you have come again as Lord Chaitanya in this incarnation in Navadvip, Kara, Navadvip Avatar, Sakla Brahmanda, Jivera, Nishta, Karela. You will liberate every living entity. Sometimes we don't realize that, how merciful is Lord Chaitanya. So then I began to think, I thought, what about the redwood trees that Prabhupada refers to many times in California that are 5,000 years old? What will happen to them? Well, they were living when Lord Chaitanya was present. So when they leave their body, they could also go to Vaikuntha. This is my conclusion. And then I thought of Leonardo da Vinci, whom obviously you know very well, who was born in 1452 and died in 1519. I'm very good with figures, huh? So 1519, Lord Chaitanya was still present. He was still around. So Leonardo da Vinci was doing all his paintings and all his discoveries in Italy, in Florence, or wherever, would have gone back to the spiritual world. Not bad. Not bad. So Lord Chaitanya is called Alduya, most merciful. And Krishna, the third one, is called Madhuya, Purushottama. And Madhuya meaning sweet. Madhu, honey. So Krishna is full of sweetness. Now that doesn't mean that Lord Chaitanya is not full of sweetness. He's also full of sweetness. But his aspect of mercy is even more astounding or wonderful. Adbhuta. Adbhuta means wonderful. It's even more wonderful. That's the point. It's not like in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, dancing in Srivasangam, or dancing in front of Jagannath or in Grand Avenue in Jagannath Puri. That isn't so sweet. It's just as sweet. Actually, even sweeter than Krishna, because he's in the mood of Radharani. But the Alduya aspect, the mercy aspect, is the most impressive. So these three, Ramchandra, Krishna, Madhuya, Lord Chaitanya, Alduya, and Ramchandra, Mayada. Mayada. So I'm just going to read this. This is from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's commentary on the 10th canto. So, Lord Ramchandra, what forest did he go to? Jarakanda. With Sita. And who else? Lakshman. Was it? And Satrughan. It was Bharat that stayed back. So, in that forest, in that Jarakanda forest, I remember going through it on the train once. It's sort of like in Madhya Pradesh, the middle of India. There were 60,000 sages. There were 60,000 sages. And these sages were meditating. And they weren't particularly spiritually advanced. And these 60,000 sages saw Lord Ram and Sita. And immediately, all 60,000, all together, when they saw Ramchandra, it reminded them of Krishna, Gopal. It acted as an udipan. What's an udipan? Something which reminds you. It stimulates your love for Krishna. An udipan. Rupa Goswami has said the flute is the main udipan in Madhuya Ras. The moon is also an udipan because it reminds you of wonderful pastimes that Krishna performs at night, and the moon illuminates. The river Jamuna is an udipan. It awakens. So the word udipan means to stimulate or awaken. So these 60,000 sages, they saw Ram and they saw Sita, and they thought of Radha and Krishna. They saw Radha and Krishna. They thought of Radha and Krishna. And all the sages desired, all 60,000 of them, to have a conjugal relationship with Krishna, simply on seeing Ramchandra. But they couldn't speak it. They couldn't say anything, because it would have been inappropriate. Can you imagine, one man, the 60,000 sages, with beards and things, skinny, and then expressing some type of conjugal love towards Ramchandra, who's another man. It's not the Kali Yuga. This is the Treta Yuga. So they thought, but they didn't speak. And they saw Ramchandra, and immediately they thought of Gopal, Krishna. And seeing Sita, immediately they thought of Radharani. Of course, Sita is an expansion of Radharani, just as Ramchandra is an expansion of Krishna. So they didn't say anything. They kept it inside. But Ramchandra, he knew. Why did he know? Because he is God. And God has a tendency to know these things. We have a tendency to not know these things. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at you in the eyes and I don't know what you're thinking. You could be thinking, why doesn't he just finish? I'm hungry. Doesn't he know I'm hungry? I want to go to Govinda's. Yeah, my wife's bothering me. I got to get back home. So I don't know what you're thinking. And even doubly more with that mask. I have no idea. I sometimes can't even tell people who they are. I was staying in Midrand with this one devotee at his house, Vishnu, Radha Vallabha's son. And every day he came to see me for 1.5 years. Every day. And then we went to a program at ISKCON Midrand. He's wearing his mask. And I'm looking one way, and I turned to him and said, "Oh, nice to see you. How are you? So what's your name?" Every day for 16 months he'd be coming, seeing me, driving me to the park, and I can't tell, with the mask. You don't know. So these sages, they kept it inside. But Ramchandra, he knew they all want a relationship with Krishna. And not just any relationship. They want to become gopis. Now that's Madhurya Ras. And he knew this. So Ramchandra organized it. And in their next birth, these 60,000 sages all took birth in the womb of gopis in Vrindavan. And they are referred to by Rupa Goswami as Rishi Chari Gopis. Extremely famous. Rishi Chari Gopis. There's a whole section about them. I'm going to read a little bit. So they all took birth as gopis in Vrindavan, and then they developed their relationship with Krishna, which was Madhurya Ras. And that was by the mercy of Ram. So Ram can give that. He can give anything. As you surrender, he rewards you accordingly. If you want money, then he can give that. If you want a good husband or a good wife, he can give that. If you want Vaikuntha, he can give that. If you want Ayodhya, he can give that. If you want to be like Hanuman, he can give that. Depends what you seriously, sincerely want. So there's 60,000 sages. They wanted to become consorts of Krishna and relate to him in Parakiya Ras, or conjugal love. So without speaking, neither spoke. The sages didn't speak, Ram didn't speak, but he gave them that benediction. And he can also give you that benediction. He can give you whatever you like, but we should be careful to pray for the right thing. So now confirmation. So this is a quote, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Upon seeing the personal form of Lord Ramachandra, the sages who were worshippers of Lord Gopal immediately became elevated to the mature platform of spontaneous devotion. So they went from Vaidhi Bhakti to Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous devotion, automatically reaching the stages of firm faith, that's Nishta, attraction, that's Ruchi, and attachment, Bhav. But they had not yet completely freed themselves from material contamination. So you might say, how is that? You come to the stage of Bhav, surely you'll be free from all material contamination. Rupa Goswami says, no. There can still be a scent, gandha, of material contamination. And he gives the example that if I fill this cup with mustard oil and then empty it, what will it smell of? Mustard oil. So there's a scent. Another acharya has said 2% contamination. And then we have the example of Bharat Maharaj, who was on the stage of Bhav, but some or other became attached to a deer. So I'm just confirming from Sastra that on the beginning stage of Bhav, there is some contamination, but very slight. So Vishnu continues, but they had not yet completely freed themselves of all material contamination. So therefore, Yogamaya. Now Yogamaya is an expansion of Radharani. Ultimately, Radharani is doing all of this, but she does it from behind. She does it from behind. So through Yogamaya, arranged for them to take birth from the wombs of gopis and become cowherd girls. So now they're no longer sages, they're in the bodies of young girls. And by associating with the eternally perfect gopis, so by associating with the other Nitya Siddha gopis, perfect, who are totally perfect, some of these new gopis manifested purva rag, or loving attraction to Krishna. When these new gopis got the direct audience of Krishna and physically associated with him, all their remaining contamination became burnt up. And they achieved the higher stages of mature bhav, prem, sneha, man, pranaya, rag. So this is Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. Again, I'll give you another. The Rishi-chari gopis, I mentioned the Rishi-chari gopis, the 60,000. They're also called sadhana siddha. Previously, they were all yogis living in Dandaka forest. We find evidence from this in the Padma Purana. This verse says that upon seeing Lord Ramchandra, the sages in Dandakaranda forest desired to enjoy Lord Krishna. In other words, the sight of Lord Ram's beauty reminded them of Lord Hari, or Gopal, their personal object of worship. And then they wanted to enjoy with him. But out of embarrassment, they did not act on that desire. Whereupon Lord Ram, who's like a desire tree, gave his mercy to them, even though they had not spoken their request, I mentioned. Thus their desire was fulfilled, as stated by the words beginning Tasava. So we can pray to Lord Ramachandra. For what you pray to Ramchandra for is determined by your adhikari. What does the word adhikari mean? Qualification. How advanced you are. If you want to stay here in this material world and want a house by the sea and a color TV, then you can get it. If you want to go to the higher planets, Swagaloka, Janaloka, Mahaloka, Tapaloka, you can get it. You can easily get it. All of you can, because you're devotees. It's not difficult. If you want mystic powers, like these superheroes, you know, they fly, and then the bolt of lightning goes out, and then they Wonder Woman. You want to be a Wonder Woman? You can be a Wonder Woman on the higher planets. If you want to go to Vaikuntha, you can go there. Ayodhya, like Hanuman, you can also go there. Angada, Purandara. Angada was one of the monkeys. He took birth in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes as Acharya Purandara. And Acharya Purandara, two people entered into him, Angada and Nagadi Manjari. So he was like two people. And he had one foot in Vrindavan, some or other, because he was a Manjari, and another foot in Ram's pastimes. It's quite subtle and difficult to understand. So you can pray to Ramchandra to go to Dwarka. If you like, you can pray to Ramchandra to go to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, you can pray to Sita Ram, let me become cowhead boy. Or let me become like Mother Yashoda. Or let me become like the 60,000 sages. Rishi Chari Gopi. Let me become like a gopi and have that mentality. So it depends on you. And your individuals, everyone is different. Some people like wet sabji. Some people like beans curry. Some people, I offered a sweet to one devotee yesterday night. And he said, no, I like salty things. He's my disciple. I'm giving him a sweet. He said, no, I like salty things, samosas. So some people like salty, sweet. We're all different. Everyone is different. Everyone is dressed differently. Although you have similar masks, the way you're wearing your mask is all different. Some below the nose, some below the mouth, some above the nose, and some even hiding the eyes. Some it's half off, some it's quarter off, and some it's total off, like me. I'm totally off. So we're all different. Variety is the mother of enjoyment. So in the spiritual world also there's variety. So it depends what you want. So Sita, Ram, Lakshmana, Hanuman, very wonderful. We pray to Lord Ramchandra if he could empower some Vaishnavas in his administrative potency. They could help administrate the ISKCON society. We need good leaders in our mission. Ladies can pray to Sita. Men can pray to Sita also. Men can pray to Radharani. Men can pray to Krishna. So, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Radha Radhanath ki jai. Go Premanandi. So, I'd like to ask a question or comment.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. How do we develop the adhikari to be able to follow our spiritual masters to where they may go?
Utsaran nishtayad dayat. Prabhupada wrote a letter and he said, enthusiasm, confidence and patience. You need these three, and if any are missing, then the process is very difficult. So utsahan, enthusiasm. Utsan nishtayat, confidence. Dayat, patience. You need these three. Nectar of instruction, text number 3. Utsahan. You've got to be enthusiastic. You can't be lethargic. We can learn from the materialists how enthusiastic they are to make money, to train for the Olympics. We just had the Winter Olympics. They're very enthusiastic for sense gratification. So we're not so enthusiastic for sense gratification, but the principle of being enthusiastic, that we can take. And we apply it to spiritual life by rising early, chanting our rounds, hopefully before the sun rises, reading Sastra, associating with devotees, playing kirtan, going to Vrindavan and Mayapur, called enthusiasm. So, utsahan, nishtayat, confidence. Be very confident that if you continue this process, you'll attain the highest goal, which is love of God. You will return to the spiritual world. This process is real. It actually works. You have confidence. And then dayat. Dayat means patience. It also means tolerance. You've got to be tolerant. Things won't always go your way. In the Battle of Kurukshetra, which lasted 18 days, there were many days when the Pandavas lost. Altogether, they won. But there were individual days when, for instance, Abhimanyu was killed. So you'll have your bad days. You'll have your Monday mornings, Monday morning blues. You won't always win. You'll lose your job. Your wife will run off with your best friend. Your husband will run off with the wife's cousin. Road accidents, disease, so many reversals. We say reversals, but actually they're simply tests. That's all. They're simply tests to make us more serious in calling out Krishna's holy name, like Draupadi, calling out Krishna's name in complete desperation. Draupadi calls out, "Hey Govinda, hey Govinda." So, utsahan nishtaya dayat, enthusiasm, confidence, patience. As I said, patience means tolerance. It also means forbearance. To tolerate difficulties without expressing, without collapsing, without going into a catatonic state or something. And we have to tolerate so much. The devotees now in Ukraine are tolerating so much difficulty. And then we had the July or the Durban riots. Again, that was not nice. We had to tolerate it. Then old age. You can't reverse old age. It's going to capture everyone. Old age, with its stealing steps, has clawed me in its clutch. Old age, with its stealing steps, clawed me. Shakespeare. So this is going to happen to everyone. You know, I'm casually speaking like this, but my time will come also. And we don't actually know when our time will come, that we're forced to leave the body. It could be road accident, could be disease. So one has to tolerate so many difficulties. And then some people think, well, I come to Krishna consciousness. I'm living in the temple, or I'm a congregational member, so I won't have any more problems. But also there will be difficulties. There will be challenges. Definitely. So one has to tolerate, but at the same time be enthusiastic. It almost sounds opposite. So that answer I can give.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Anyone else? The weather you have to tolerate. It's raining. so miserable. And then next week it's going to be too hot. You have to tolerate. The mother-in-law. Just gotta tolerate. Thank you very much. Let us pray to Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman. We'll just have a short kirtan. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar. Shri Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Radha Radhanatha Radha Radhanatha Radhe Jaya Radha Radhanatha Radha Radhanatha Radhe Nitai Gaurahari Nitai Gaurahari Gaurahari Joya Nitai Gaurahari Nitai Gaurahari Gaurahari Jagannath Jai Jagannath Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jai Jagannath 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 Jai Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jai Jagannath Jagannath Baladev Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jai Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Go Premanandi Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariva Jagacharya Astotara Sata Shishim Divine